I was 50 years old, and prior to my former life, I was a carpenter and a contractor. When I was 50 years old, I hurt myself, and I couldn't do it anymore, and I didn't really want to. And I realized that I just felt the full weight of the decision not to try something new. And I was 300 pounds or thereabouts, and I was on antidepressants, I was on other kinds of medications, and really felt like the colors of my life were just dissolving. And one day I walk into this place called Cafe Gratitude. Now, in the 12-step world, gratitude is a central virtue. So I went to this place anticipating a room full of ex-junkies and alcoholics engaging in hyperbolic conversations about their life. Instead, I found a raw food vegan restaurant, right? I'm looking around, there's no stove, there's no coffee machine. The owner's son was standing there, and I said, hey man, I had to have a cup of coffee at Cafe Gratitude. I figured somebody here is in recovery. And he looks at me and he says, we're all recovering from something, aren't we? So I started frequenting the place because they look so warm and affectionate, and when you're as fat as I was, ironically, you don't feel seen. And I didn't care about the food at all, right? So like I would eat this stuff to stay, I would order something to legitimize my being there. But as soon as I left, I promptly marched to the nearest chicken and ribs place because at 300 pounds, I figured you can't survive on leaves. That's how I felt. And this inspired these guys because unbeknownst to me, they wanted to make a film about Cafe Gratitude. He goes, he says, we have an idea. We want to take a guy who's not well, which was a rather generous description of my condition at the time, and we want to feed him this food for X amount of time, and we want to have him visit holistic health practitioners and do colonics and cleanses, and we want to film it, and we want you to be the guy. And I just completely altered my lifestyle, like overnight. And that went on for 42 days. And so next thing I know, it's at this theater in San Francisco, and they told me, don't come to the end of the movie because we don't want people to see you. And by then I had lost all my, just dropped all the weight. I was working out all the time. I looked great. And I walk in and there's this standing ovation, like people like cheering. I'm like, I had never seen anything like it. At first I looked behind me, and then they kept looking at me. And ever since then I've been doing that. I've been on stage talking to people about the mind, body, spirit, to health and wellness. And what I've discovered is that everything that I was ashamed of, the drug addiction, the behavior behind the drug addiction, the people that I hurt, my own experience with trauma and disappointment and heartache, have all become part of a repertoire that I can draw from to communicate with people that are in those situations, because the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it is connection. And I believe that the answer to one of the primary components to achieving not just personal health, but societal health is developing our capacity for deeper and more meaningful relationship.